And so my question was on actually welfare. And so I was wondering why, if you, for example, say you'd have like a private system that provides, for example, that are for sick kids or something like that, and everyone would kind of fund it. What is wrong with having kind of like a limited or maybe a small welfare program just for like these specific things, maybe through the government or something like that?
Because one is voluntary and one is not. So the principle here is the principle of force. Through the government means coercion. It means I get to fund sick children, even if I don't want to fund sick children. And I have to fund sick children, even if my child is sick and I need all the money to pay for his surgery. I have to fund other people's sick children. It basically removes choice from me, and it coerces me to do something. So and by the way, and look, the other aspect of this, so that's the principle. The principle is no coercion, no forcing people to fund things that they might choose not to fund. And once you violate that principle, okay, we just want a tiny little, really small welfare state that funds sick children. Yeah, but what about poor children? What about children that could get sick because they're poor? Should we fund them? I mean, it's just, again, another little small thing, just a little bit of money, not a lot. Well, wait a minute, but if we're funding these sick children and these almost sick children who might get sick one day, what about the adults who are really poor and because of their poverty can't take care of their children? Shouldn't we fund poor parents? Well, but if you're not a parent, and if you're not married, you're single, how are you going to find a mate if you're this poor? Maybe the government should fund single poor people so that they can actually get a mate and have kids, so we can have lots of kids in our society. There's no end to the amount of redistribution you will get, which is where we are today. We're basically redistributing everything to everybody. Everybody gets a redistribution. Even I, who don't need your money, am going to get it. Right? I get it when I send my kids to public schools. I get it when I go on Medicare. Which I have no choice but to go on Medicare. You can't opt out of Medicare. There's no such thing. I get it when I get my Social Security. I'm getting your money. So you go from, oh no, it's just the neediest of the needy. We promise we'll never. But this is the case in morality and in politics and in real life. Slippery slopes exist. They really, really, really do. This is why you have to act on principle. No redistribution of wealth, no coercion in society, no force. And then if you want to help sick children, fine. If you want to help sick adults, fine. If you want to help sick Martians, fine. You get to choose who to help. And if there's not enough money to help them, then they won't be helped. And that's life. But to force me at gunpoint to help them, that is a violation of principle and completely unacceptable. And once you do that, all rights are out the window.
But I guess on the practical side, you couldn't just say something like, for example, have an objective standard. Like, for example, biology, you could say, like, if you get cancer, we can help you. But if you're just like lazy and don't want to work, because from, I guess, my perspective,
But that's how it used to be. That's how it used to be. And it kept getting looser and looser and looser and looser. And then we got it. But look, you can't set a standard for when it's okay to beat me up. It's okay to beat Yaron up if there's a child dying, but it's not okay to beat Yaron up if it's not a child, he's already 16 and he's adult and he's dying. Then it's not okay to beat Yaron up. You can't beat me up. Beating me up is wrong. It's immoral. It's unjust. I didn't cause the kid to get cancer, and yet you're making me responsible for his cancer. So if you can't beat me up because the kid has cancer, then how dare you take my money? My money is my life. My money is my work. My money is my time. That's like beating me up. I'd rather you beat me up than take my money. Right? So you can't have, I'm going to have a principle to violate your principle. It just doesn't work that way. I'm going to have an objective standard. But there is no objective standard for when it's okay to beat me up. And I'm purposefully making it beat me up because I know you don't want to beat me up, Alejandro. But that's the essence of taxation. It's beating me up. It's beating me up by majority vote, but it's still beating me up.
Interesting. Well, I guess I'd have to think about that.
Right?
I guess
Try not paying taxes. Let's say in your system, we got the poor dying cancer kid fund, and I don't want to pay it. I don't want to pay it. And what do you do to me? You beat me up. You physically remove me from society and put me in jail. Right? That's what you do to people who don't pay taxes. So I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think it's moral. I think it's immoral to use physical force because you have a social cause that you think is more important than my life. But it's not. My life is the most important thing to me. I get to decide which sick kids I get to help and which sick kids I don't. Like, how about this? Sick kids dying from cancer in the United States? What about sick kids dying from cancer in Canada? Should I help them? Or in Africa? Or in Mexico? Why not? Does the border change the morality of not helping them? There's no end to it. But again, the principle is can't beat me up. Can't use force against me. That's the principle. So no welfare, no coercion. We want to live in a society, and this should be pretty straightforward. It should be, everybody should be cheering us on. I want to live in a society where no force is used against anybody, period. And if you and your friends want to help somebody, you can help whoever you want or not. But I don't have a right to force you to help anybody. That's the society I want to live in. No force, no coercion. I don't see what's so crazy about that. And it's a principle. So we always know how to enforce it versus the exceptions and all kinds of exception rules and all this other stuff. And then it's not a principle, and then force is okay, and then we can use force in all kinds of things. Taxation is force. It's the initiation of force.